It's been very interesting for me to hear the World Bank presentation on economic geography. And I very much agree that economic integration is an important element of economic growth. I'm sure that the Baltic Sea region can also prosper from increased economic integration, actions that further reduce the barriers to trade, promote research and development and innovation, and increase labor market mobility could all boost economic growth in our region. These are important issues. Reality is, however, that the political agenda has another focus at the time being. When I meet with my colleagues, there's one main subject on the agenda, and that is how to restore a sound macroeconomic framework with sound and sustainable public finances and sound economic structures. The current crisis has made it much more challenging to achieve these elements because of the overall size of the challenges for public finances and the crisis' possible impact on the productive potential of our economies. But it is important that we focus on how to restore public finances and improve the economic structures of our economies, as these elements are the ingredients to achieve and maintain high and stable economic growth. The importance of stabilization has been evident during the current crisis. Countries all over the world have implemented expansionary measures, including fiscal policies, in order to stabilize the economy. But countries, including the Nordic countries, that used the good pre-crisis times to consolidate public finances had a relatively large room for fiscal maneuver and support to the economy. Other countries, including the Baltic Sea region, had to consolidate dramatically due to build-up of imbalances. Overall, I think that the expansionary policies, both fiscal and monetary, have been successful and necessary. The economy is no longer in free fall, and there are even green shoots pointing at economic recovery. The unprecedented expansions have, of course, amplified the effect of the economic downturn on public finances, also in the Baltic Sea region. Government deficits are in many cases reaching alarmingly high levels, and debt ratios are increasing to historical heights. This is, of course, not a sustainable path, and we have to react. Even though signs of economic recovery are still uncertain, we need to start thinking of the design of exit strategies, particularly for fiscal policies. The timing and pace should depend on country-specific challenges, and the strategies need to be differentiated across countries. But it is important that we agree on a coordinated approach with common principles, both in the European Union and globally, in order to minimize the potential spillover effects. Besides fiscal consolidation, a comprehensive exit strategy also includes plans for withdrawing support for businesses and the financial sector. Fiscal consolidation should start before monetary and financial exits in order to promote a policy mix conducive to growth and employment, including through low inflation and interest rates. However, we need to do more than roll back the expansionary policies. Consolidation's efforts should also take into account that public finances in general already were under pressure before the economic downturn. Furthermore, structural reforms should have a high priority, as the current crisis is likely to have negative impact on the level and possibility the growth rate of potential output, exacerbating the negative impact of aging populations. One of the challenges is, at least in some cases, that the magnitude of the consolidation needs makes it unavoidable both to cut public expenditure and raise taxes. But a higher tax burden could have a negative impact on labor supply. Some might find that unimportant at a time where the outlook for employment is quite unfavorable. But the risk is that the worsening of labor market structures will raise unemployment to persistently higher levels. On top of that, we have a structural need for increased participation rates due to the challenges of aging populations. Looking at the historical experiences, there's been a temptation to reduce labor supply through, for example, pre-early retirement schemes in an attempt to dampen the increase in unemployment. However, that will only increase the fundamental problem for public finances. So in countries where higher taxes may be needed, it is important to broaden the tax base and avoid raising rates. Furthermore, as the economic situation improves, we should focus on reforms that increase labor supply and ensure the flexibility of our labor markets. The financial and economic crisis has also, or perhaps especially, highlighted the need for financial market reforms. When the financial crisis started, first priority was given to financial sector rescue measures, a necessity in order to prevent a systematic financial crisis. But these measures are not in line with market economy incentives and impeded competition. Therefore, it is important that we start thinking about how to rebuild a stable and viable financial sector with sound incentives and a framework that will at the same time strengthen competition in the financial sector and preserve financial stability. When I look at the Baltic Sea region, I do see challenges for all of us when it comes to improving public finances and the economic structures of our economies. We must all think about how to return to a sustainable path, and I believe that it could be very useful for us to share experiences, discuss best practices, and exchange good ideas how to do it. Thank you.